Welcome to Comically Comics, your one-stop listen to all things comics. We're talking books, movies, TV shows, video games, and more. I must forewarn you, though, we are a spoiler cast, and what that means is we consider all properties, past, future, and present, to be valid, and we will spoil the hell out of them. I'm your host, Michael, along with my two co-hosts, Richard and Jeremy, and with all that being said, let's get started. All right, it is Sunday, May 18th, and y'all are getting a 2-for-1 special today. We got a comic book review, and we got a movie review. Just saying. Superman's coming up. There was a Superman story that Richard's been wanting to read for a bit now. And it was tied to a movie. So here we are. We're doing it. Superman, Action Comics, 775. There's a story within this ginormous comic book, by the way, that's called What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way. And the movie is called Superman versus the Elite. The movie was done in 2023. 2012. Thank you. Sorry.
2012?
I don't know what I read that was
or 2012.
wrong. Yeah, because apologies. 2012.
The far-flung future of 2012.
The story that was written by Joe Kelly, inked by Tom Ginn, and penciled by Doug Mankey and Lee Bermejo.
Yes.
Yeah, I may have butchered that Tom's last name. I apologize, but yeah, you'll find him. I promise. So, how are y'all wanting to do this? Y'all want to do like the story and then the movie? You want to do them both at the same time? I don't know.
My idea was we just talk about the story, like the comic book story, and then talk about what you liked about the movie versus the comic book, or did the comic book do something better that the movie didn't, and vice versa.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like
kind of blending it.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we're basically doing a review of the book and then throwing the movie in there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So the story itself, Superman. What's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way? Jeremy, what is your whelming on this story?
I am pleasantly whelmed.
Nice.
I enjoyed the story. I mean, I enjoyed the Superman getting kind of smacked around a little bit, trying to learn a few new things. But I do like the hope that he brings, like the ending of with the hope and that it just being restored there. Because I mean, I think it, as a little bit deeper level, I guess, is like I think everybody kind of gets wrapped up in like when stuff like that is happening, when bad things are happening, kind of just wanting to have almost the elite's mentality of just putting them down, basically, but still realizing that they're people and they still deserve a kind of that path. I don't know, and it's always a morally gray area for a lot of people. So I think that this one did a good job of kind of covering that whole idea.
Nice. Richard, what is your whelming? Obviously, you're going to like this because you're the one who's like suggesting this. So
Yeah, I've been championing the story for years now. I forget when I first read it. It definitely wasn't when it first came out. Probably, I don't know, 2013, I don't know. I think I saw the cartoon first and really liked it because this is the height. Like, I'm getting off track. My whelming is that I'm overly whelmed. I love this story so much. To me, this is quintessential Superman. This is what I point to constantly about, like, I know you're not going to like this, Michael, but what Zack Snyder got wrong about Superman. Like, this is Superman.
yeah,
He is the lawful good. He may be hokey and silly, but that's what the character is.
yeah,
He is to put it in a better perspective, since most people have seen the movies rather than read the comics, he's Captain America. He is a Boy Scout.
yeah.
And I love, though, the like lesson that he teaches the elite and the rest of the world at the end of the story.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay. Let's see, the story. I was whelmed. I was whelmed with the story, but let's be real. Like, we all know that I'm not a Superman fan. However, I will 100% agree with you that this should be essential Superman reading and that this is like at the core what the character of Superman is.
Yes.
Like I 100% agree with you on all that. I think it is a good story, and it did make me think, and I like that about it. However, at the end of the day, it's Superman, and I just don't give a fuck about Superman. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give the summary to the movie because it's essentially the same thing as the comic book. So, the Man of Steel finds himself outshone by a new team of ruthless superheroes who hold his idealism in contempt. That's from Plex. So, I thought that was a fantastic summary. Good one. The team at hand is the Elite, and they're led by a man named Manchester Black. These are all metahumans. Another man by the name of Coldcast, another man by the name of the Hat, and another female character by the name of Pamela. But in the comic books, her name would be
Menagerie. Menagerie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Menagerie. Thank you. So, and Menagerie has this, like, I don't know, it's a weird, like, alien type
They're called
costume.
Yeah, they're called Sim Beasts.
Okay.
SYM Beasts, all one word. Yeah, I think, I'm not sure. I think she's either supposed to be, again, another reason why I suggested this story right before the Superman movie comes out is that I think they're low-key allegory characters for the Authority.
Yes.
And I think she's supposed to be like the engineer. But she also reminds me of Top Cow's character Witchblade. Where she had all that like crazy like stuff on her. So I don't know if it's just like a huge amalgamation of those two characters or what, but that was my reasoning, is because I feel like a lot of this story may play into what Gunn may do with Superman.
I will say I did read some article where it said that pretty much the Elite were the answer to Wildstorm, which is a variation of DC anyways, the Authority. Yeah. So, and then the most recent Superman trailer that we've seen to kind of spoil that a little bit, we saw the engineer come in and her hand shapeshift into a buzzsaw. And so she'll have that ability to be able to do some, which I didn't know anything about the engineer. And I saw that and I was like, oh shit, this bitch is bad.
Yeah.
The Hat was pretty cool, like almost like a magician, but can like summon demons or something. I don't know. It was crazy. Coldcast, his ability is mainly with electricity and can set off like these electric style bombs and whatnot like that. Power blast, it looks like. Manchester Black, telekinesis.
Yeah,
like that seemed to be his main focal point.
Super powerful telekinesis.
Well, so I'm going to jump to a section because this is what I really enjoyed about this was how, like, of course he could kind of throw Superman around, but to sit there and like constrict the blood vessels in Superman's brain to a point where like he's almost giving him a stroke.
Oh, he wasn't constricting it. He was exploding them.
Exploding. Okay. But I was just like, damn, like I've never read or seen anything like that. That was probably one of the more interesting parts of this entire story for me, was like seeing those two head off and fight each other. Like that was probably the top tier that I enjoyed the most. And especially the final battle. The final battle, especially in the comic books for me was man, that was fantastic.
Yes, agreed. Yeah. The end of the final act of this story is my favorite part of the entire book and of the animation, like the cartoon movie. The other reason why I kind of wanted us to read this is there's some stories in the future that I want us to read, and Manchester Black shows back up in them. And this is a great, like, now you know who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I will say I like the way that the book did the Elite better than I liked the movie. I felt like the movie dragged a good bit. It was like it was okay story. It's just it wasn't interesting enough for me. And I enjoyed the very short and sweet to the point of the book more than I did like making them look like they're going to be friends with Superman and then be like, fuck off, like we're going to do our own thing kind of thing. And like, cause it I don't know, it was a very heel turn type move that I I didn't jive with, I guess.
Yeah, like I guess the one that I could see is, whenever it was kind of weird, whenever he just did that whole telecast like type thing,
Yeah.
and just right after they had Superman and the Elite had fought together, so that was a little odd, I guess. But at the same time, I guess like Superman kind of helped him realize maybe just how powerful he is, and so he just wanted to go ahead and let everybody know. But I did enjoy the at the same time, on the flip side of from you, Michael, is I enjoyed kind of that little bit of like where he met him and he fought him together and said, maybe this could be nice that, having like some help or something around here.
Yeah.
Almost seemed like, but then moving on to his, like, whenever they were meeting up again and Black was just annihilating people. I mean, that would be your turning point there instead of just in the comic, it just jumping to telling you there's these people and he severed all these legs or whatever limbs things going on and kind of jumping through there. So I kind of liked that little bit of setup there, but him doing the whole thing on the television of broadcasting everything like it was kind of odd.
Yeah, in the cartoon, see, I think the cartoon does the story better, in my opinion. So that's why I'm a little shocked by that. You kind of see when, they're at the docks or whatever, and like some guy's feeding a dog and they're talking about how like they're looking for Superman. It kind of establishes right off the bat that like there's something more sinister about this group than what they're letting on. So it seems like they wanted, like, they've been trying to push Superman to make the first strike just so they can get an excuse to kill him. And the other one is just more of like, they're completely against his ideology. And then now once Superman makes the first strike, they're like, okay, we got to kill you. Because that's, we learn from Manchester Black's like speech about like, he who has the power makes the rules kind of thing. Like that's that's his whole ideology.
Right.
But the one thing I don't like in the cartoon, I will say this, is I like how Superman in the comic goes, we're not fighting here. We're going somewhere else. So they go to Jupiter and they do that for a little while, but then they come back to Earth and then they're fighting again, like in the cartoon, they're fighting again back on Earth and there's this like collateral damage. And I know it's revealed, spoilers for the movie for those who haven't watched a almost a decade old movie or twice decade old movie now at this point. It's revealed that like all that was kind of a ruse. He had all of his Superman robots like protecting everybody, but I preferred it like staying on like the moon of Jupiter while all that's going on, and then it's just televised by Bunny and all that. But I love though the like twist of it, and I don't want to get like right into that yet, but I love that whole twist with Superman in this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, the ending to me is the best part, both the story and in the movie. I think I said that earlier, so I don't want to repeat for myself, but that was the best part. I love in the cartoon though. I love how Lois takes up more of the space with Superman than like odd people in the comic book. Like we still get the scene with his dad talking, trying to give him a pep talk basically about going up against the Elite, which is nice. But at the same time, like there's also that hint of like, well, you can beat him, can't you? And it's like, well, son, can you beat him?
Yeah.
Like it throws that doubt out there. I really like that. And we didn't get that in the movie, but I don't know. I like the spunky Lois Lane that we got in here for the most part. There was one line that she said that I didn't like, but it was whatever. And so like I like that interaction with her. I felt like she made a bigger presence than she did in the actual comic book.
She kind of has that scene with Clark. She says something about like, hey, I'm sorry, but I think these guys can actually beat you.
Yeah.
Like there's a moment that's kind of similar. I like in the comic we get, and again, this is kind of like, we kind of saw some shades of this from the new Superman trailer, but we see that Lex is president currently in the comic book, and Amanda Waller is giving him intel for, these new metas that have shown up, the Elite. So I'm wondering if maybe like Rick Flag is going to be kind of that role for the movies instead of Waller. because it sounds like he in that trailer. We're just talking about the trailer now, but he sounds like he's like the head of the Pentagon or something like that. So there's some beats here that I really hope Gunn includes in the movie. There's also a moment where Superman, it's silly. It's always been silly. Comics are silly. That's just how they go. But Superman goes in the Fortress of Solitude. He has a healing chamber that uses like sun that's like liquid, and he's just like splashing it onto his face to heal himself. It's dumb and silly, but like there's also another like sun healing room kind of thing. Gunn's doing something different, which is also I think in the comics as well, but that like magnifying glass thing. But anyway, there's a lot of beats here that are similar. I think we may get some version of this in the story.
Well, and even he may even take some of the cues from the TV movie itself, or the cartoon movie itself, with all the not the Amazobots, but all the bots that he had, that Superman had. Like we're getting those in this, and that's the first time. I don't remember a Superman movie ever having these bots.
Not live action, I've never remembered, but a lot of the animated stuff they'll show it.
So like I kind of wonder, like, did this kind of open the door for him? Did he then read the book and then be like, hey,
yeah. Real quick, in the comic, there's a bunch of, starting right off the bat, there's a giant gorilla who I'm going to assume is Titano, which is one of the goofiest, like, Superman villains ever. It is a giant cyborg gorilla that shoots kryptonite beams.
Nice. I like this monkey already. I'm just saying. Or ape, I apologize.
I'm assuming that's who it is. They don't actually say the name, but it more than likely is Titano. Clark is talking with Jack Ryder, who is the Creeper from Gotham.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Jack Ryder is a very well-known reporter he's usually like a sleazy reporter, and he works, I think, for like the Gotham Gazette or something like that. But anyway, he eventually becomes the Creeper. He's in Batman, the animated series, all sorts of stuff. He's in the Batman video game as well.
It's a very fitting name.
Yes.
Especially with his like silk bedsheet comment. So.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say, because this is the original ongoing Action Comics.
Yeah.
And I want to say at this point, he is the Creeper in continuity.
I could probably see that. I mean, this is probably done in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. It was 2001.
2001. Yeah.
But yeah, that was just some of the little Easter eggs that I thought was like, hey, cool, there's these people.
I did find it interesting that Pocolistan was in this in the movie as well.
Oh, I'm so glad you picked up on that.
Who?
Jeremy.
Who?
The country of Pocolistan.
Oh, okay.
Where all of Creature Commandos took place. I said the first appearance of it. You thought I was ridiculous for this?
Yes, okay.
I knew you would forget that.
Well, of course I would.
Yeah, I was hoping you would pick up on that, Michael, because I literally for my notes underneath the movie section was like, hey, looks like they name dropped Pocolistan. Jeremy will not remember this.
Several times over.
Yes.
There was a war going. And so like that, again, there's another connection like you're talking about with Gunn. Like, where else have we talked about Pocolistan at? Like, why is this even a place? Why does this even matter?
Yeah.
And yet here we are. We got the elite and we got Pocolistan. So
right.
You may be onto something, dude.
Yeah, it could be, but I also think it's just because it's not a real place. It's just a fake DC place. So I just think they just like using that. That way they don't talk about a real place. Some of the changes that they did that I kind of liked in the comic that the movie doesn't do is at the start, Jimmy and Perry White are reading about the elite and they're all like pissed off. Whereas in the like cartoon, they're like, oh, hey, Soup, they're pretty cool. Do you think they're good or whatever? I like Jimmy and Perry are just not in on these guys at all.
Yeah. I like the appearance of Pam in the comic book better than I do in the movie.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
She's very gross looking.
Yeah. She is.
And they made her such a pervert in the movie,
right? Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Like she's always trying to bang Soups the whole time.
I know. I love the cartoon though with Manchester being like, He's like, I'm monologuing, darling. Please keep it in your pants or something like that.
Yeah. I will say I do like Manchester Black. And I think it's because he reminds me of John Constantine is why. Like, I feel like they're pretty much almost the same exact character.
Yeah, I meant to look him up. He is supposed to be based off of an actual person in real life, just like Constantine. But yeah, he's supposed to be the like British punk rocker type. That's why he has the Union Jack tatted over his entire body, purple hair, piercings. He smokes like a chimney in the comic version. In the cartoon, he just chews on matches. But yeah, most people prefer Manchester Black like as a villain. So you're not alone there. A lot of people like Manchester Black.
Yeah. And then I liked how the movie started and finished, if I'm not mistaken, with like punk rock music.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what, that gets you in the mood right there. Like if you don't know what's up, like this definitely gets you in the mood.
Yes. I prefer, there's a moment in the book, but I think movie, like cartoon, The Hat. I usually don't like magic users, but something about The Hat I really like. For some reason, he has like these crazy like abilities. And in the movie, he has like at one point, it's like horrifying. He like, I don't know, summons some demons that like drag a soldier to hell or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is fucking terrifying. I love, though, in the comic, there's a moment with him, and it's during the final fight where he just summons this big, giant, golden, like Aztec tablet. It looks like something from Legends of the Hidden Temple or something.
Yeah.
It looks like OMAC. Just like fucking crushes Superman. And I was just like, that's kind of cool. I don't know what that is, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I do applaud them for keeping up with the beat of the book in the TV show. Like they really didn't change a whole lot in the movie. Like all the key stuff, even some of the little stuff. Like, no, we didn't get a giant tablet on the moon in the movie. However, there was a point where like the Hat took like these two mountains or something and like slammed them up against each other on Superman, which is essentially the same thing. You know what I mean? And so like I applaud them for that. Like they took even the smallest things and made sure to like have and incorporate those into this movie.
Yeah.
So I do feel like this was a good overall representation of the comic book.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's what I was going to say during my whelming. And then I was like, I caught myself. I didn't want to go off on a whole tangent. This is like peak DC animation. And what I mean by like, while the art style, the animation is good, the art style is not great for this movie, but they're at the top of their game right now. When all this is when they were just like movie after movie after movie after movie after movie, and they're like all solid like stories and everything. So yeah, I like, and like some of the lines from the movie are just verbatim from the comic, and I enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, I do too, and that's one of the things that I was going to say too. Is like it's one of those you talk about like between reading a book or comic versus the movie, and how so much gets lost between the book and the movie. But this one did a really good job on it, and yeah, like you said, even just like I read the comic just a few hours before watching the movie, basically. So like, and just could exactly remember those lines as they were saying them almost on some of the things. So I really enjoyed that. I was gonna say the one thing I did like, I liked in the movie what they did with and again kind of showing the change in heart in the characters is that kid that lost his dad, and then bringing him in at the end. I was like, that's really cool. Like I liked how they did that.
Yeah, that's what I think. To me, the comic, because it's back in 2001, the 90s had just happened. And during the 90s, all the heroes became dark and gritty versions of everyone. And I feel like the story was originally written as like a commentary on that, of like, not all of your superheroes need to kill like kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's more black and white, the comic, whereas the movie makes a more grayish morally area with that, especially with the kid and losing his
Yeah.
father in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And still, I like, again, Superman is supposed to be like, he is the North. Like, as far as a moral compass goes, he is North. He is the North Pole. He's the North Star, whatever you want to call it. He is as morally like straight as any other character can be. So I like the idea of like, yes, like what he did was terrible. Like, in other words, was it Atomic Skull did was terrible. He killed your father, but he deserves due process, and I can't be judge, jury, and executioner here.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just, again, I like it. I don't necessarily like, I'm not the biggest Superman fan, but I understand his point is what I'm saying. Is like, that is what his character is. And to change that is not doing the character any justice whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see that now. And I agree with what you're saying. And I think that's what I enjoyed the most about the story and about the book was that, like, I've always heard people sit there and talk about, like, he is the lawful good, he is the Boy Scout, he is the you know, the true north of moral right and all this other jazz. And, like, you know, hearing it or whatever over the years, like, okay, yeah, whatever. But, like, actually seeing it and reading it in a book, like, actually did make me feel a little bit different about Superman, not gonna lie. And I love that regardless of who it was in the story and what that person meant to him in the story, he always believed in that. And he always, like, for lack of better words, had confidence in himself and what he needed to do.
Yeah.
Like, even when Lois was questioning, even when his dad was questioning him, even when, like, the entire world, like, because he's hearing everybody and these kids who are like, oh, fuck it, I don't want to be Superman. Like, Superman can't kill. Like, even when all that stuff was happening, like, it was still like, no, like, this is right.
Yeah.
This is right. Like, that's, like, y'all are the ones that are whatever. Like, that, I absolutely love that. Absolutely,
Yeah.
positively love that.
Yeah. Again, it's like the Captain America thing. It's like the speech during the Civil War stuff.
Yeah.
I like it. This is arguably my favorite Superman story. Like, it is, again, quintessential Superman.
Yeah.
And I guess we could get into, I like the fight, the final fight. So he eventually, the comic, they kill, I'm drawing a blank here. What does he do in the comic that sets Superman where he finally decides to like punch one of the elite? I'm trying to remember now.
So in the comic book, there was an alien race that would die from melting of water.
The Men in Black. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
That was clearly Agent J and Agent K.
Oh yeah.
I forgot to mention that. Yes, that is clearly an Easter egg to Men in Black. But yes, yeah, he kills the, I don't know, Cleetes.
Well, he's I think he's wanting to, or Manchester Black is giving the Hack kind of the go ahead to do it, and Superman is like, no,
yeah,
and he's very adamant about it. He's not going to let him go ahead and do it in front of him, and so like he basically like puts hands on the Hat, slaps him,
he slaps him,
which in the movie it's Manchester Black,
yeah.
And so the difference there is like Manchester Black goes ahead and kills Atomic Skull, like right there in the street, like what y'all were talking about before.
Yes.
And in the book, it's the Men in Black who are fighting this alien race who's allergic to water. Superman pretty much like pins them down with ice.
Yeah.
And, you know, they are able to be, you know, put into custody. I also want to set up before we get into this is that if you haven't gotten it by now, the main thing of like Superman's all about, you know, the system and letting, like, not being judge, jury, and executioner and all that other jazz, whereas the elite does not give a fuck. Like, all this other stuff's not working. It's kind of like the argument that people have with Batman of like, you know, you let the Joker out so many times, like, how many people does he hurt? Like, why not just take care of the Joker and be done with it?
Yeah.
And so, like, that's what leads us up to this moment here. And
It's-
what?
Sorry, real quick. It's also the argument with the Punisher and
Yeah,
Daredevil in season 2 of Daredevil of
Yeah.
like, hey, Red, you beat these guys up, put them in prison or put them in the hospital. They get right back out and do the same thing over again. Whereas I kill them and they don't ever come back.
they stayed at, and like
Yeah.
those lines are even mentioned in this story and in
Exactly,
the movie of
yes.
like we put them down and they stay down. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, a repeating theme across characters like that. And Superman's had enough, and he basically slaps the hat, puts hands on him, and that's where it's like, okay, fuck you. Now you're our enemy.
Yeah.
If you're not with us, you're against us. And that's what sets up this whole final battle that Superman convinces them in the movie to go to the moon and in the comic book to go to Jupiter.
Yeah.
And they basically have this showdown where Superman kind of pretty much gets his ass handed to him for the most part at the first.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Y'all really don't know me.
Yeah.
Because I am him.
Yeah, exactly. He is I. Yeah, no, he like the note was the elite kick the living shit out of Supes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like he just lets them do it or they were able to, because in other, like, we don't see, I can't recall if we ever see the rest of the elite. Like, I don't remember seeing the Hat or Menagerie or Cold Cast ever again in the comics, but Manchester Black has shown up multiple times throughout the comics, and he is very powerful. Like, he's a very powerful psychic. So anyway, I don't know if this was like Superman was toying with them all along, or they were kicking the shit out of them, or out of him. I mean,
In the movie, it seems explained to where he's like, he is toying with them all along.
yeah,
Whereas in the comic book, and I think that's why they did it that way in the movie, was kind of like, what sense does this make? Like, Superman's getting his ass kicked, all of a sudden he changes his mind and he's like, fuck it. And he's, now he's going to really handle these guys kind of thing. So I don't know. I really like it's two different stories with the same ending, honestly.
you like that
And
Superman
I like
got his,
both of them.
You like that he got his ass handed to him?
Oh, I love when Superman gets his ass handed. I love it. Are you kidding me? No, the beginning of it when Manchester Black's just toying with him and he's like, just fuck off. And he just kind of just throws him through mountains. I'm just like, yes. Yes.
One of my favorite moments, sorry to like get off, it just reminded me, is when he lands, and it's in the comic. I like that version better, but he lands and it's like the Japanese, like, no-name villains, because they just get murdered anyways. So like,
Oh, yeah.
and Superman says something about like, no. And then they all just get like slaughtered. And he's saying no because he knows it's about to happen, kind of thing. I love that moment.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. I don't know. Like, personally, to me, it's he wasn't toying with them. He was just like, I can take it kind of thing. Like, I'm Superman. I can take this beating, but I'm going to try till like almost my last breath to let them like reason with them. And if they don't, then I'm going to cross that line.
Looking through it real quick, I feel like it was. I agree with you. Yes, looking through it real quick though, I feel like it was almost like they hit him quick and fast, and not that he's not faster than a speeding bullet or anything like that, but it was just like he gets flung through the mountains. Then Menagerie comes and starts clawing his face. Hat drops this giant temple god thing on him, and then Manchester Black starts exploding his, like, giving him a seizure. Like this is all happening like back to back to back. Like, and so I felt like maybe it was like he wasn't anticipating the team up or something.
Yeah.
But yes, they were kicking his ass, and then Cold Cast just electrocutes shit out of him.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. Just literally just
like
blows up.
Bomb or something goes off. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And like that was just that whole thing there was crazy. And I liked seeing it play out on the movie too. And the one thing I really liked on the movie is how they did his like Superman's voice.
Yeah.
During that, like being like just like an echoey
Mhm.
Like all the
yeah.
reverb and stuff and everything. Like it just that was really cool how they did that.
It's very
And, like,
ominous sounding.
Yeah, like it gave you chills.
My favorite, the line is when he takes out Cold Cast. And he's like, Manchester's like, holy shit, where'd he go? And he's like, oh, he's out in orbit, going at like Mach 7. He's like, if you had super hearing, you'd hear him pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that was.
I was like, oh,
that.
fuck.
I'm not big, like you're talking about earlier, on the animation style of the movie.
Mhm.
However, I feel like they did justice to the end fight scene. It was almost like an anime type feel for me.
Yeah.
And just like his facial expressions and whatnot like that. And I feel like they did really, really good there.
Mhm.
But the artwork in the book is so damn good. It's so damn
yeah.
good.
Oh, really? You like it? Okay.
I love the artwork in the book, like especially the last couple pages are probably my favorite, and it's when he's like confronting Manchester, like after he's done his bidding essentially on Manchester. Because I don't want to spoil that yet. That's when I'm like, oh, this looks really good. I really like it.
I got to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of the comic art, but I've never been a Lee Bermejo kind of guy, to be honest with you.
Most of this does not look like Lee Bermejo,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Well, like that,
but he also just did the pencils.
Yeah, but that's for the most part like a lot of like how it's gonna look. Like the colorist adds more depth to it, but as far as like the pencils, but like the image of Superman where he is just beat the fuck up and he's telling Manchester Black about like how does it feel to like have your dreams destroyed kind of thing. It looks like he's shitting his pants. It looks like he's trying to push one out.
Yeah. Yes. I do agree with that. He's definitely got some like straining veins going on there in the neck. Like,
Yeah.
But it's the next page. You get a whole nother. I think this is a whole nother artist. The next page, like the shading's different, the hashing's different. There's the artwork, the structure of Superman's different. A lot is different on these next pages,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like that's a new. I feel like that's a new artist, and I feel like this could be more of Lee Bermejo's work right here.
I do like that side profile of Soups in that where it's Manchester and Soups like face to face.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that panel. I love that panel, dude.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, like, wait. Are we just gonna go ahead and give like what he does real quick?
What? No, not yet.
Okay.
I want to so bad. But let's go down the line. Menagerie. Menagerie was the first one in the movie and in the book to get got. Okay, and we're just gonna leave it at that. Her in the comic book, she looks dead.
Yeah.
She looks obliterated.
Yeah.
Like
I don't. Well,
And those.
sorry.
So one thing I liked about in the movie better is like I didn't know what the heck happened to her in this, like in the comic. I was like, what bit her? Like what got her?
Same.
And then like in the movie they show like it looked like a little dart hit her or something like that. So I was like, I don't know what just happened to her, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I like how she dies in the comic as well. I don't think they could show that for a children's PG-13 cartoon.
Yeah. Yeah, especially back then.
They can make all the dick jokes in the world they want to, but they can't show a woman exploding.
No. Yeah.
And it's not even blood. After that is the hat, and he gets got by lack of air.
That one was crazy.
I love that one. That one's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Because he went in with all the confidence in the world, and I guess, he's an alcoholic, so...
Yeah, for real.
You mentioned Cold Cast earlier, like him and Manchester are just flying, and then all of a sudden, he's gone. He's gone.
You just see
and
the
it wasn't
color.
per teleporting either.
You just see the color pattern of Superman. You see red, blue, yellow like streak across the sky, and then just Cold Cast is just gone. Like it's almost like the Looney Tune. Like there's just like a silhouette of smoke from where he was.
And then
That's
that leads us to Manchester Black, the only one, the face off here between him and Superman. It lasted a little bit longer in the movie
Mm-hmm.
than it did in the comic book, but I like the ending in the comic book better than I do the movie.
Okay.
And the reason why is because let's go ahead and spoil it now if y'all are good with that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the movie, Superman pretty much says he does an X-ray, finds the part of his brain that's an
Abnormality.
Yes, thank you, that word. And he basically just cuts it off, just severs it from the brain through his heat vision, through the man's pupil, like fucking surgery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The same thing, though, happens in the comic book, but he says, I just gave you a concussion.
Yeah.
And he mentions, like, you're going to get your powers back, but not before you're basically doped up to where you can't use them anyways. And I like that version better. And the reason why is because Superman in the comic book version didn't take something away.
Yeah.
He let the authorities then be the ones to decide whether or not he should have his powers or not.
I think in the cartoon he does the same thing.
Well, he severed it, so like essentially,
No.
go ahead.
He explains afterwards. He's like, he says that's what he did, but then he's like, actually, I didn't do that. I gave you a concussion.
Oh, he said that in the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I missed that. That's
Yeah.
my bad. Okay. Fantastic then. It's the same ending, so it doesn't matter now.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I like that where
Same.
and you realize that, Menagerie's not dead, she's not exploded or whatever, she's just knocked out. And then same with Coldcast, and like they're all still alive, but they're basically just they have headaches and they're hurting or whatever.
Mhm.
And that's where he's showing like where the differences between him and them, and how like you can't go about your life doing this. You can't just be who has the power, whatever the saying
Makes the
was.
rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I guess he essentially showed him that like I have the power and I made the rules.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the point. He says to the broadcast, so the people of Earth, he's like, so now you see that like, if I were to go this way, how scary it could be.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And how you're lucky that I just am not this way, where you don't want your heroes to be that way. You don't want them to be judge, jury, and executioner. You don't. So anyway, I like it. I think it's such a great story for Superman. And I a long time ago, when I was very like irritated with Zack Snyder's Superman, and I was like, we got James Gunn was coming in. I was like, James Gunn needs to do this story. If you want to get people to like Superman, I think this is the story you do.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. Yeah. And we may be getting it. I mean, there's a lot of ties to it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, when you start pointing them out, like there's a lot of ties. It's like, what you doing there, James? What's going on there, buddy? I like to, and I don't know, maybe it just kind of hit me just now or whatever, talking about the whole power and responsibility, not power and responsibility, but power and, who's in charge kind of thing.
Right.
But it's like, once that power is, and this is, absolutely the point that I guess I've been missing the whole time, is like this idea of like, yeah, you have power and go do my bidding kind of thing. Like, do what we feel is right. Like, that's all fine and dandy until it's put up against you. Like once it's then against you, it's like, oh fuck, like I don't want this wrath on me. I don't want this. Like, give me a chance, kind of thing,
Mhm.
And so I don't know. It is one of those essential Superman stories that I feel like, especially anybody like me who's like, I don't like Superman. Yeah, you need to read this. You definitely need to read this.
Yeah. Because it was funny, like when we were talking about it too, about my wife and I were rewatching Ted Lasso, and it was just one that we just watched was him like, giving his speech about belief, and I was like, that's like, you got like Ted Lasso basically doing the same thing of like believing in people, and like that's basically what Superman is here is still having hope and believing that people can come to the right decision.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you kind of have to nudge them along a little bit, but still believing that there's still good out there.
Yeah, that is the whole point of Superman, is that he is supposed to be what we aspire to be. Yeah. Superman is, again, the North Star. Like it is what we need to head to. And anyway, again, it's such a perfect little story, again, like this
Yeah.
movie was, the cartoon movie was like an hour and 16. I'm like, just make this into live
Yeah.
action. And
Yeah.
it's like the
Yeah.
perfect Superman movie for me.
So if we get this, I'm assuming you're gonna be extremely happy, Richard.
Yes. If we get like,
This version of Superman, I mean,
Yes.
not this story necessarily, but like
Yeah.
this version of Superman.
I think we are like, I think from that trailer, I know we probably want to do an episode where we break down that trailer, but from that trailer, I think Lex is going to take the role of Manchester Black. Like he's not going to have superpowers, but he's going to be that like, hey, you're no better than us. Like
Yeah.
I kill people all the time kind of thing. And then I think some of the heroes in the story are going to be kind of like the elite. Like I think clearly one of the authority members, the engineer, is going to be Menagerie or something. I don't know. I feel it in my bones that like
Yeah.
we may get something like this.
Well, I don't know if you want to hear this or
Sure.
if Jeremy wants to hear this. I don't know. But through a toy leak, it looks like the mystery man in all black is Ultraman,
Okay.
which that's a member of Crime Syndicate, isn't it?
Yes.
Like New Crime Syndicate. So
Yeah. Earth 2 or 3 or something like that. That's
yeah,
another.
something like that.
I don't know if we'll be able to read that before the movie comes out, but that's another story that I would love for us to read.
Oh, the New 52 Earth 2.
Yeah, I think so. It's the one with the
Hmm.
Crime Syndicate. I like
Okay.
that story. There's also a DC animated movie about it, and it's quite good as well.
Nice. Well, cool. Jeremy, if we get the Superman from James Gunn, are you all in?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like we said, it's very much so of who he is, and so yeah, I'd be down for it.
Real quick, what's your whelmings on the movie? Both y'all.
Oh, in the movie,
Yeah.
pleasantly whelmed.
Damn.
Wait,
I guess
wait.
I'm.
Wait, the one that we just watched, or are you talking about the trailer?
Oh, the one we just watched
Okay.
The one we just watched.
and then reviewed.
Just making sure, like
The
we
one
were
we're
talking
doing
about
the
trailer
episode
there. Like,
Yeah, I
like
guess.
if we were talking about if we got this Superman, or whatever. So I was like, wait a
Yeah.
minute.
I got you.
Yeah.
No, the one we just watched.
Okay. Then yes, pleasantly whelmed.
I think I said I was overly whelmed for the comic book. I need to be what's past overly whelmed, because I like the cartoon better.
Oh, I usually sit there and say like engorged or something.
Oh, no, don't.
Don't be gross, Tammy.
Nothing's engorged. Anyway, I'm overly whelmed. I'm overly whelmed.
Overly whelmed.
Over the moon whelmed.
Yes, over the moon
That's
and
funny.
Moon Knight whelmed.
I'm like whelmed to underly whelmed with the movie.
I feel like Moon Knight whelmed is like way low.
That's I'm moon pie whelmed. Then how about that?
Oh no, that's underly whelmed for
Oh,
me.
I
as well,
love
too.
me some
Yeah.
pies. We're bringing that
Yeah.
back. Remember that, listeners, from like I don't know, episode like 10.
Oh, fuck a moon pie. What do y'all? I with y'all's whelmings, y'all absolutely recommend this. We've talked about how this is essential Superman. I recommend the story. For me, I wouldn't so necessarily worry about the movie, but if you want to, have at it. It's not like you can find it anywhere streaming though.
Yeah,
Good luck on that.
that was gonna be my thing. Is like, I think this is essential reading for Superman. Good luck trying to fucking find both the movie or the comic without exploring the 7 seas, if you catch my drift on that. That's insane to me. Like, DC really needs to be like, hey, we're going to re-release this for when Superman comes out. I know they did that
Yeah.
for All-Star, which is what supposedly Gunn saying gave inspiration.
Yeah.
But yeah. Real quick, though, I just wanted to, I was researching just a little bit of stuff on like Wikipedia. I thought this was interesting. This issue was number 47 in Diamond Comics Distributors sales list, with an estimated sales figure of 37,076 sales.
Mm.
The issue was called the single best issue of a comic book written in the year of 2001. And it was voted number 1 on the top 10 comics of the decade and number 21 in the list of top 100 comics in the last 30 years, and named the greatest Superman story of all time by Wizard magazine.
Wow.
Now, I will say though, as far as the issues being sold, like this is not the only story that's within that issue, if I remember that right. Is that correct?
No,
Like, this is a story that's found within that issue, Action 775.
No, I believe the Action 775 is just this. It's
Okay.
Because like I have where we typically read our books, I found Action Comics 775, and it's just that one single story.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was just like an oversized issue or something like that had more than one story in it, because it would be an anniversary issue of 75, 50, all that other shit. So
the last thing I just wanted, but it was also placed at number 4 of the top 10 most overrated comic books by Comics Bulletin. So there are people out there who are apparently not a fan of this.
Michael.
Yes.
It has its place. Like I said, I've said it, I don't know how many times now. It has its place. It's definitely, if I was talking to anybody that was a Superman hater or that was interested in getting a Superman, I would absolutely tell them to read this story here. And there's not another one that, other than like maybe Death of Superman, like there's not another one that I would tell them necessarily read. I remember reading Death of Superman. I've read it recently, and I'm like, okay.
I hate the Death of Superman. Is so bad.
It's long, and it's like a cool, it's like a cool fight. But outside of that, it's like, okay, he died. Bye-bye.
It's such a bad story. Anyway. It's not even like the dying part. It's just a lot of like when Doomsday is like there, and anyway, it's just a bunch of fucking nobody you want to see in the story, and then eventually Doomsday gets anyway. It's a whole thing. It's bad. We may.
I'm talking about the single, like Superman 75. Like I'm talking about the single Superman issue. Like that's what I'm talking. Yeah. Or like Doomsday's already gone through all those other fuck offs.
Yeah, I got you.
All right, cool. Well, y'all join us next week because we're going to shift back over to Marvel. I apologize. Do y'all have anything else to say about this?
I noticed one funny note that I skipped over by accident, and it's just from the comic where Superman at one point is flying around in the world, and he's listening to people talk about how like they like the Elite over Superman, and there's these 2 women walking dogs, and they're like pit bulls or something like that.
Yeah.
One of them has a like fucking tattoo on its arm.
Does it really?
Yeah, the dog does. The artist drew that, and I thought that was really fucking funny.
That is funny. Jeremy, do you got anything else?
No, that's all I had to.
Okay. Like I said, join us next week as we shift back over to Marvel with some more movie reviews, a nice little series of movie reviews to kind of give us up and going and ready for the Fantastic Four coming in July as we go through the Fantastic Four movies and review those individually. Starting off with the unreleased 1994 Fantastic Four. So that can be found on YouTube right now. Shout out to Cali Comics, who brought it to my attention. So he's an awesome YouTuber. You should definitely go and check him out. But yeah, that's what we're going to start off with. And I've never seen it. Jeremy, I'm going to assume you've never seen this as well.
It'd be a safe assumption.
Okay. And Richard, have you seen this?
I have seen this.
You have seen this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've seen a lot of the old goofy, not when they first came out, just I like watching old bad movies sometimes. So like I've seen a lot. I've seen the Captain America one, the Lou Ferrigno one. I have not seen the Doctor Strange one, but
if I can get that on the docket. So yes, join us next week for some Fantastic Four stuff as we go through those movies. And until then, Jeremy, where can they find you at?
They can find me on Twitch under the handle Night Fury GTO. It's Night with a K. And you can find me here.
Awesome. Richard, where can they find you at?
If you want to contact me directly, I have an X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram, a Blue Skies, and a Threads. My handle is Night Curry, night like day and night, and Curry with a K. If you want to contact us directly, we have a Gmail. Our Gmail is comicallycomicspodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to check us out on YouTube, possibly TikTok, we'll see, and Instagram, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics Podcast. And if you want to check us out on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics with an X.
Awesome. You can find me on Instagram, eBay, and shortbox22_comics. Thank you all so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed as much as we did make it. With all being said, say goodbye, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy. Bye.
Back to the tank with you two. Up, up, and away! Maybe this time they'll learn that crime doesn't pay.